Thanks for joining us today at Unstuck Your Business Podcast.
You went into business with a passion to explore your skills and talents and show the world what you can do to contribute into our society and into our economic ecosystem. But a couple of years into the business and your drive and motivation has dwindled, and now you feel stuck.
When you find yourself at this crossroad of thoughts and emotions, how do you deal with it? In this podcast, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship to help you unstuck your business. We are your hosts, Inés Nazario Vega from Business Essentials Virtual Assistants.
And Edith Duran from Reason Marketing.
Welcome to Unstuck Your Business, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of entrepreneurship. Today, we will dive into the challenges, triumphs, and incredible journey of women in the business world. From breaking barriers to shattering glass ceilings, women are redefining what it means to lead, inspire, and succeed.
In this episode, we'll explore the real stories behind the title, the hard-won victories, the unexpected hurdles, and the wisdom gained along the way. Whether it's navigating with gender bias, balancing work and life, or celebrating career milestones, our guest brings raw honesty, practical advice, and plenty of inspiration to the table. To help us today with this topic is Denise Musselwhite, founder and owner of Tech and Thrive. Denise, welcome to Unstuck Your Business once again. Thank you for being a guest on our podcast one more time. Please tell our audience a little bit more about yourself.
Well, hi, I'm so glad to be here with you. And Inez, had so much fun the last time. I'm thrilled that you invited me back. I founded Tech and Thrive, a leadership development and team effectiveness agency, as a result of my more than 25 years as a woman in tech executive. And I observed a lot of opportunities for us to better prepare diverse leaders in the space for leadership. Most of the people who end up in technology roles are individual contributors, and then because of their technical acumen, they're promoted to people leaders. And when they end up in that space, they don't really invest in professional development or learning around what leadership looks like. And they struggle sometimes because they're technically minded professionals that lean towards wanting to work with machines, right? And tasks. So I step in and help with that for organizations and individuals at, organizations all over the world, really. My niche has been education technology for some time, but that is expanding with more work with Fortune 500 companies and technology professionals there.
Amazing.
Excellent.
Yes.
We're so glad to have you here, Denise.
Yes, and I'm excited to talk to Denise. Denise is someone that I've known for a little bit over a year and always admire her and her dedication to what she does and helping women in the business world, and especially in a very competitive industry such as technology. I find it fascinating that you have been able to break barriers in that technology for women. So can you share a little bit more about your journey into the business world? What sparked your passion, and especially into the technology industry?
So, my story is both a little bit of nurture and a little bit of nature. My parents immigrated to the United States from the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico when they were kids. And I was born in the Bronx. My parents, the way that they provided for our family is they owned a small repair shop, and their first repair shop was named Denise's Service Station. I'm their oldest and first child. So that was really fun and a little insight into my role in the family, right? I was the oldest, the one that they were really proud of, and all of the pressures that come along with growing up in a traditional Latino family. But because of our tight-knit entrepreneurial small business family, I spent a lot of time at my parents' repair shop. And when I was in middle school, we moved to Central Florida, which is where I still live. And they opened a new repair shop. And after schools, in middle school, I would spend time in the repair shop alongside my dad and his mechanics, and my mom, who was the front office manager and bookkeeper. And my dad had to buy this really complex auto computer diagnostic device because cars became more computerized in the mid 80s. He asked me to translate the manual of that diagnostic computer for him and his mechanics, and I did. So I taught my dad and his mechanics how to use that diagnostic device on the cars that they were repairing when I was in middle school. So I had a real aptitude for translating complex technical things naturally, which I get from my dad. My dad is engineering, right? A mechanic by profession, but he's really an engineering type mind. And because of those experiences, I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to do that. Nobody told me girls weren't.
Yeah.
And I did it. I did it all the way through high school. My teachers noticed the aptitude. They encouraged me to continue. I got a job in high school, working for a law firm, and they allowed me to be their network support, backing up all of the lawyers' computers and recovering files. And I was in my teens. And I went from there to college and got a degree in legal studies because I thought I was going to become an attorney. But when I started working as a paralegal, turns out people were coming to me to instead help them navigate the technology in the law firm because I could figure it out more than everybody else. So rather than doing all of the paralegal work, they were having me automate processes and workflows. Because it's a natural inclination of mine. And started to see the theme there. I decided to go back to college and get a degree in management of information systems from UCF. And I was one of the few women in that program, and I excelled. I graduated with honors there, entered the workforce, and was leading a team of technology professionals in a large law firm by the time I was 24 years old. And the rest was, I just had a very fast acceleration in technology leadership because I understood infrastructure, operations, and I was good at it. And I was also a people person. So I had those two qualities. And it paved the way for me because no one told me when I was a kid that I couldn't do that until I entered the work world and realized that I was the only woman in the room for most.
You know, when you said that you worked at your dad's shop, I immediately thought about the fact that, you know, back in the 80s, us women, we didn't have very many open doors in very many industries. And the fact that you started in an automotive industry, which was very, very male dominated industry. And then swiftly changed into the information technology industry as well, which I remember back in the days, 80s and 90s, the IBM, you know, I remember even the attire they were required to wear, and it was mainly men that you would see with the blazers and the white shirt and the blue, you know, suits and what have you. And to hear you say that early on, you were starting to break those barriers for women.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
I was doing it because it was not foreign to me because my parents didn't tell me I shouldn't, right? It was part of what we needed to do in order to survive as a family. I remember, and I'll tell you the story just for context. Early in my career, I remember being told over and over again by my male counterparts in technology that I should wear my hair up and put it away because it was distracting. And it was interrupting my executive presence. So can you imagine being in an environment where people who you admire, who you work alongside, are telling you like, you need to put your hair away because you don't have the executive presence for people to take you seriously.
Wow. How did you tackle that? I mean, because that's gender specific.
Absolutely.
Obstacle in the industry. How did you tackle that particular incident or the overall of fighting that gender specific obstacles throughout your career?
I think that the way that I responded to that kind of feedback was by always showing up more prepared than everyone else. And a lot of women do that in their roles. They show up more and they prepare more than everyone else, right? Because we need to really demonstrate that we deserve to be in that space. And it's an unfortunate side effect that we face in leadership, is that we still need to prove that we've earned that spot, not the way that we look, but because of our intellect and because of our capacity to do good work and to lead exceptionally well. And I could run circles around the guys in terms of technology operations management and infrastructure design. I did it, right? It's probably why they focused on something that was different about me, my hair.
What about now, Denise? Do you still see any gender specific obstacles that come up through your work, or or any other examples that are still you're still surprised that comes up?
I will add to that, to the people that you mentor, because you mentor a lot of women into the technology world, younger ones that are getting into the technology industry.
When I have a daughter who's 21 and she's pursuing technology right now in college, and I also have a son who's 24 and he is in the technology field as well. As an executive leadership coach, and the reason that I started Tech and Thrive was to help accelerate growth and progress of diverse professionals in the space, right? And with that theme and that mission, I am always working alongside leaders to help them overcome those challenges that are systemic, right? The industry is, whether we like it or not, male dominated, right? And with that brings the norms of a masculine environment. And when you're in that space, in particular, if you're a feminine woman in that space, you're going to be treated differently, because the space was designed for individuals that are not like me, right? I help professionals overcome that all the time. I do it in my public speaking. I do it as an executive coach. I do it as a team effectiveness facilitator for organizations. And the obstacles are still there.
It's interesting because I understand that wasn't or is Hewlett Packard CEO a female? And it's interesting that even having a woman representing as the highest level of a big technology company, the ones that are starting up still have to struggle with that gender specific obstacles. And
a long time, there's less than 25% of CEOs in the Fortune 500 companies and large companies overall, even small companies, that are women. Which is a reason why I decided to launch Tech and Thrive, right? As I wanted to create the environment that I wanted to work in, and for others. And to do that, I wasn't willing to wait any longer for someone to provide it for me. I decided to provide it for myself, and that's why I went into business on my own, leaving a very successful technology career and a more than six-figure income so that I could do that. And I did. My company is, by all measures, successful. And I'm really proud of it. It's, again, very unique for a woman, a Latina woman, to create an organization that is profitable, period.
Feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list? Emails, scheduling meetings, managing customer inquiries, social media. The list never ends. But guess what? You don't have to do it all. Let a virtual assistant from Business Essentials Virtual Assistant help you say goodbye to the mundane task of running your business and reclaim your passion over essentials. From administrative tasks, customer support, social media, marketing, and more, we've got you covered. It's like having an extra pair of hands without the overhead. Ready to work smarter, not harder? Visit us today at businessessentialsva.biz. Again, businessessentialsva.biz and get the help you need today. Yes, yes, yes. Can I ask you this question? Do you see more and more women starting up their businesses just because of the same reasons of not having those opportunities with the existing businesses that are still male dominated?
I'm on the board of an organization called Women in Tech and Entrepreneurship, which you two are familiar with. We've interacted there, and that organization, half of its members are women who have pivoted towards entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask them, many of them have a similar rationale for doing it. We don't want to wait for someone else to make the opportunity for us. Instead, we're going to create the opportunity that we need to succeed. It's still very hard, but it's on our own terms.
Yes. Yes.
It's not easier, that I can say. It's not easier what I did before, but it is on my terms, and I don't have to every single day interact with those systemic barriers. They still are present for me because I'm working in a world, we are working in a world that is still predominantly male dominated, and has norms for success that don't align with what I need in order to feel like a whole and successful person. And for me personally, that alignment is a family first view. For me, in my career, I knew that if I was having children, which I did, I was fortunate to be able to have children, that I wanted to be present for them. Meant that I was going to have to work in organizations that valued my family as much as it valued my work.
Yes.
I was really, really focused on working within industries that did that. As a result of that, I ended up leaving the legal industry and joining the education industry as a technology professional, because the values of the education industry aligned more with what I needed from a successful professional life for my family, not just for my paycheck, right? And those kind of decisions that I was making, and I still make today. When I made the decision to start and launch Tech and Thrive, it was out of a desire to be able to balance is impossible, by the way, to integrate my family life and my professional life in ways that were really authentic to who I was. And I have. I'm proud to say that I have done that.
And I can attest to that also, Denise, because I've been in the online marketing world since 2010. And at one time I worked for Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in their marketing department, which, it was all technical. And it was a worldwide campus, which the worldwide campus is global and everything is online. But being in a setting that was up and coming with search engine optimization at the time, it was very male dominated. And then transferring over to Embry-Riddle, which is more academia, it's still difficult. It had its challenges, but you could see their efforts to try to give the accolades and have some work-life balance and, have the team bonding experiences. That is something that I really saw, especially at that time, that was missing because in the technology industry, it's all about the results. You're trying to get to the end, and you're trying to, get the results. And a lot of the, downtime is missing because you need to get there quickly. So, and hearing you say how there's more and more women, and going from the corporate environment or of technology where you're creating systems and you want to see how the gears are working, and taking that knowledge, pairing it with their skills, the natural female skills of patience and nurturing and educating and becoming that entrepreneur and delivering really what it has been a void in the area for a really long time. Because as you said, with your story with your parents, this is what they needed from you. They needed you to have the patience to show them and translate for them and show the team this is how it's done so that they could do their job better. So I can really see this area thriving, with more people like you leading the way for women to have their place in that entrepreneurship world and marrying the technology and entrepreneurship. I just really had to throw that out there because as you're explaining it, I'm like, I saw that. I lived that.
Yes.
So thank you to you, Denise. And do you see that still where the education piece is really like blending in well with women and the technology space?
I think that because women show up naturally more, they tend to have a higher emotional IQ, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then their colleagues in this space have, and I try to avoid generalities because I have learned from using an assessment tool that no one is the same and that stereotypes are really complicated. So I really do try to avoid generalities because people are just wired uniquely. And that
Right.
instrument that I use to assess individual really helps them understand how they're wired and where their unique strengths are, right? So that yes, I hear what you're saying, Edith. The education piece for me is about helping every individual and every organization that I support through Tech and Thrive understand who they have on their bench using data minded approach, because then we can move past the stereotypes of who I am from a gender or a race perspective and really just look at who I am as an individual professional. And when I have that kind of information, now I can come up with a leadership development plan that is personalized to that individual and allows them to be understood by their organization more authentically, and also allows the individual to be understood more themselves.
Yes.
That's the part that I think people really miss. They get on the track to be successful and they're driving after a goal, and that goal may only have been informed by their family life or by their supervisors defining for them who they think they are. Individual really understanding what their capacity is in various areas. And we are, our personalities are pretty set. Our personalities are pretty set. So it's important for us to understand ourselves, and that self-awareness to me is the education piece.
I mean, yes, I would agree 100% with you, 100%. And Denise, in the interest of time, because we like to keep our podcast to 30 minutes, what changes would you like to see in the business world to support women better?
Oh my gosh. I just wrote a blog post about this, and it just went up yesterday. I think it went up yesterday. And we're in early January here, 2025, right? But this is going to go live in a few weeks. I encourage people who are listening to go check out the blog post, and I'll provide that information later. But there's two things that really resonate, right? Psychological safety is absolutely important for organizations to embed into their culture.
Yes.
And for women listening, or whoever's listening, for you all to embed into the way that you work with others, this sense of psychological safety. If people don't feel safe with the people that they collaborate with, they're not going to show up their best.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay? So psychological safety is one of the number one things that we need to figure out how to cultivate and to move past our own internal threats that we might see within the organization, right? Because then we can't show up ourselves. The other is, so psychological safety is one. The other is the ability to articulate yourself what it is that you need to be successful. Don't wait for somebody else to define that for you.
Yes.
For yourself. Don't wait for your supervisor or for your spouse or for your friend to tell you, oh, this is what you need in order to feel successful. You're the only one who knows that.
Yes.
And you keep looking around for some kind of sign that's going to tell you, what it is that you need to be successful. And there are maybe signs. The universe may be pointing you towards a direction, or your contacts and network might be pointing you in a direction. But unless that direction aligns with who you are and what natural strengths and talents you have, you're going to find yourself unhappy. So really figuring that out, right? When I decided to leave my profession after 25 years, very successful there, I kept being called on to do tech consulting, go back into organizations and create operational technology plans, infrastructure design plans. I would have made more money faster if I had done that, but I would not have left the world that was making me feel less than, which was one where I constantly had to prove that I knew what I was talking about to rooms full of men. I had to continue to do that. And I was just like, no, that's not what I want to do anymore. I want to talk to rooms full of diverse professionals, not just women, but the entire rainbow. That's who I want to talk to. And in order to do that, I need to change what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So lean towards leadership development so that I could attract diverse professionals to want to work with me, because that's who I want to work with and who I want to support, so that I can feel supported.
Awesome. Well, Denise, in the interest of time, what would you say are the three main takeaways from this conversation if we're trying to encourage more professional women to go into business?
Well, the first is, you already do hard things in your work life. What if you were doing hard things in a way that supported your own life, right? More targeted. So the one takeaway there is, what if working hard for yourself could provide for you? So that's one, is right. And it's not easy. I'm not here to say that it's like easier. It's just a different card. It doesn't feel like to me, because I'm in my purpose. Totally. Right? So figure out what your purpose is. That's number 2. Figure out what your purpose is. And then finally, prepare. I have been successful because I showed up prepared. Just like I talked about, like I got more prepared for the meetings in my previous life. Showing up more prepared. You have to prepare for all scenarios, including possibly not making any money for 6 months to a year.
Yes.
You have to come in eyes wide open that you might not have any income for 6 months to a year. Don't let anybody tell you different, because it's wrong. You may not. I was fortunate that I did, but I was prepared not to. Prepared not to. So, right. And you can't do it alone. So tap into your network.
Absolutely. Well, Denise, thank you so much for being in our podcast today. I think this is going to go very, very, very well with all the ladies out there thinking about going into business. And I think your story is so inspiring, so encouraging. So, to the audience that is listening, all those beautiful ladies out there that are thinking about going into business, don't hesitate to contact us, because even us, the hosts of these podcast, Edith and I, we had to go through that process of switching from corporate, from W-2 to 1099, to from employee to entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. And although we won't say it's an easy road, it's a very rewarding road. And, we need to encourage each other all the time because of those challenges that you just share with us that we can face in the business world. So thank you so much, Denise. Denise, where can our audience connect with you?
Well, I'm really present on LinkedIn, and my name is Denise Acosta Musselwhite there. That's how you could find me. And on the web, you can find me at techandthrive.com. The and is spelled out, so techandthrive.com. Like I mentioned, on my website, there's a Thrive quiz that I encourage all of your audience to take. And it gives you an assessment of whether you're sinking or thriving. And some resources get sent to you if you participate in that. So I welcome you all. If what I talked about resonated with you, please reach out. I'm here. I'm an email away, and happy to support you as you decide what's next for you.
Wonderful. And all of this information that Denise has shared will be in our episode notes. So if you didn't have time to write it down, just go to the episode notes and you will find ways to connect with Denise. Thank you so much, Denise. And we hope to have you again, because I think there's so much more to this topic that we can have a couple of episodes to talk about. Especially you were saying earlier, before we were recording, about a program that you have about communication, about public speaking, and how I think public speaking and self-esteem and communicating the right way in this male-dominated industries go hand in hand. So I think that will be a wonderful topic to tap into in a separate episode. So thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you. This has been fun. It always is.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, we want to thank you. Let us know what you think about today's topic by leaving us a comment and a review of our podcast.
And if you found some value on the information shared in this podcast, please subscribe and share. And you can find us on our Facebook page, Unstuck Your Business, and join the conversation and engage with other entrepreneurs, as together we help each other unstuck our business. Until next time.
Until next time.